This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to King of the Hill Podcast. I am Mike. That is Rusty.
Yeah, I'm Rusty.
Yeah, he's Rusty. There
I'm
he
Rusty.
is. Rusty, we are Season 5, Episode 6, When Cotton Comes Marching Home Again. This one's a little sad.
Yeah, it is.
Honestly, because you take this big old Cotton personality and you reduce him down to nothing.
Yeah. No, it is. I like it. I like this episode, actually, though.
The vets, it's a little rough from both what Peggy does to what Cotton does. All right, so we start this. Oh, by the way, let me tell you guys, we've been talking about the Swimmer's Ear Adult Swim podcast. Yeah, and we're going to do that on Friday. So in this same feed, you'll get the first episode of Swimmer's Ear and probably the trailer also. But listen to it, see what you think, give us some feedback, and then we'll see you again on Monday. All right, let's get this sucker started.
Let's go.
No bell, no yell.
No bell, no yell.
We're Bobby and Hank in the kitchen, and they are eating burgers. And I really like this joke. It's a great joke to start with. Hank says, Bobby, you ought to leave a burger for your mother. She'll be hungry after a big meeting. He says, she knows what time dinner is. I think that's great. Peggy comes in. She's wearing a button on her shirt that says Chairman of the Float Committee. And she goes, boys, slap me 5. Who says slap me 5?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Since
who says
1976. The school picked my float design for Veterans Day Parade. We are recreating the famous flag raising scene at Iwo Jima is the way she said it. Iwo Jima. Like it's Spanish.
Like it's Spanish, yeah.
She said, like last year's school float. Bobby, yes, but what Principal Moss loved most about my idea was how authentic it will be. I'm sorry. That's Peggy, too. She said, each mannequin will be wearing authentic medals awarded for bravery at Iwo Jima. Hank says, hey, you know who might have some of those? That oddball who runs the bric-a-brac store. You ever been to a bric-a-brac store?
Bric-a-brac store. No, I don't know what a bric-a-brac store is.
So bric-a-brac is what older Southerners, I guess, call like a 5 and dime store or an antique store or a junk store.
Oh, a junk store. I was like, excuse me for not knowing what a 5 and dime store is.
I saw you ride in here on your giant one-wheel bicycle, so I figured you would know what that was. You're always carrying a typewriter around.
Yeah, the bric-a-brac. No, there was a funny video that I saw where a professor had told students they couldn't take a computer to class, no laptops, no tablets. Mm-hmm. So there's the kid that's recording the class, and then he like pans the class, and then over here you can hear this kid beating. It's way louder than a laptop would ever be, beating on a typewriter, and it's because it's like every time the teacher starts to talk, he starts to click on it,
like he's
and
then
he hits it. It's like ding, and it like echoes throughout the whole auditorium they're in.
That's very funny. That one, and then the guy who wears a hoodie with a mannequin head with glasses on, and he's typing on his laptop. All right. So, you know who might have some of those is that oddball who runs that bric-a-brac store. Peggy says, nope, move to Provincedale. No, in my capacity as float committee chairman, I will place a toll call to your father in Houston and ask him for his Purple Heart, Silver Star, and whatever else they gave him for killing all those Japanese. Great, Peggy. Good job. for killing all those Japanese.
Yeah.
All right, now we're at the mega.
That's actually my birthday. Is
What? D-Day?
No, not D-Day, but
Iwahima Day?
well, not Iwahima. Hiroshima.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the day
wow.
Hiroshima, because it was the 6th is Hiroshima and the 9th was Nagasaki.
Is that you in that picture?
No,
Oh,
me.
okay.
I'm a little young for that
Sorry.
one.
All right, so we are at the Megalo Mart. And by the way, this is the first time I've seen inside the Megalo Mart where they have lumber.
Yeah, they got a little lumber
It
section.
looks
Looks like a Home Depot lumber
That's
section.
exactly what I wrote
Yeah.
down. I said it looks like Home Depot.
Well, that's what Megalomart is, right? It's like all
It's
the
everything,
big stores
apparently,
in
yeah.
one.
Yeah. Well, it's mega.
Megalo.
Hank's petting a piece of pine wood, and he says, boy, this is choice cut of North Carolina pine. It'd be a perfect wood to honor our veterans. Peggy says, it will be under 600 pounds of sand. Don't blow up our budget, Hank. Use that. And she points at particle board. Hank's like, particle board? Yeah, if you want to throw your float out in 5 or 10 years. Who's keeping a float around for 10 years?
I don't know. I don't think I thought floats were dismantled shortly afterwards.
That's what I thought, too. Yeah.
I've never participated in any float though.
didn't either.
I've never floated.
No, I was never on a float.
I like big red floats.
I like root beer floats.
Yeah, I like root beer floats too. But I don't know. For me, it was always a weird thing to be floating for, like the homecoming thing.
It is
It's just
odd.
always a weird thing
It
to
is
float
odd.
for.
Yeah.
I know it's tradition, and that's why we do it. But who started it?
Well, it feels very much like that Russian tradition with all the troops just, marching down the street, showing off their
I was always
military
kind of
might.
curious. Yeah, showing off their ROTC,
Yeah.
the local
Yeah,
ROTC might. Yeah. No, I like the parades though. We take the kids to all the parades and stuff. The local, we'll go over here to the Conley one and
Sure.
the Robinson one
Sure.
and stuff like that. But
I like it when the Shriners get out in their little cars and do figure eights.
they do those. I don't think they
I don't
operate
know if
still.
they do them
They
anymore. I don't know.
all the
They probably-
Shriners have
they
passed.
probably died.
All the Shriners have since passed. They're waiting on a new badge.
Now it's just their fezzes on top of little remote control cars.
Yeah.
Somebody's over there in memoriam. It's
Yeah.
a little car floating around. So Hank says, yeah, if you want to throw your float away in 5 or 10 years. Off in the distance, we hear Cotton's voice. Stand on your tippy toes, Didi woman. And we see over there that G.H. is strapped to Didi, on one of those front carrying baby things.
Yeah.
Cotton is on her shoulders, and she's lifting him up to the top shelf so he can get down a giant pack of diapers. Hank goes over and he goes, Dad, what are you doing in Arlen? Buying 192 diapers, Hank's wife. He just looks at, I love that.
Hank's wife. Yeah.
She goes, Cotton. I mean, it's just so stale. All right, some of the brands on the shelves as they're getting down their 192 diapers. There's one brand just called Best with an exclamation mark. There's one called Baby Use.
Okay, Best Baby Use.
Good Boy.
Good boy.
Sherry's Puffs, which I don't know what that sounds like a cereal.
Puffs. Yeah, that's like.
There's one just called DZ.
Sherry, if you could let us know about your puffs,
Sherry,
please.
let us know about your. I don't think you're supposed to ask that anymore.
Oh, we're not.
And then the last one says dry-a-pers. Drypers. So they keep your butt dry.
Drypers.
Yeah. Drypers. Okay.
There's a place in Fort Worth that I deliver to called Dryce.
Really?
DRYCE, and guess what it used to be? It used to
dry
be
cleaners?
Dry ice.
Oh.
It used to be. It's a
So it's like carbonic over here.
kind of yeah. Like so, when you walk up to like their front door, there's like this. There's these 4 walls with no roof over the top, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it looks like very industrial. Like it used to be a part of the production facility for dry ice, and there's like no
gotcha.
roof. It's like a patio area
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But you could tell how it. It's like a hull of something, and then they kind of built the hotel inside of this old factory and built it up.
Oh, so you're delivering to a hotel.
Yeah, it's a hotel, not a dry ice facility, but it's called Dryce. So I always thought it was funny. I asked the guy, I was like, "Why are y'all called Dryce? I
Yeah,
mean, where's the
yeah.
name?" He said, "Oh, we used to be a dry ice." I was like, "Man, there's some creative sons of
It
guns
makes
behind that
total
one.
sense, yeah,
Some creative guys on that one, yeah, for sure."
So Peggy speaking to Cotton, she goes, I have been calling you. How long have you been in town? He goes, a week. We're staying over at the VFW. We love it here. Didi and the baby love it there too. Ain't that right, wife? She goes, it's just like a second honeymoon, only it's not El Paso. I don't know what happened in El Paso.
I don't know what happened out there.
Hank is like, a week? Why didn't you call? I only call the people I want to see, and then they just walk off. He's just such an asshole.
Yeah, he's rough.
Okay, so we're now the next day. We're at the Hills. Hank is at the table reading his paper. It looks like they're all eating breakfast. Peggy is pouring coffee. Bobby's at the table eating. And Hank in the newspaper. And here's why I want to point this out. This is a callback later, which I love this because it has zero to do with this show. Yeah. It has nothing to do with this episode. It is just a boom and then callback later. So Hank says, they're taking out that yield sign by the Ethan Allen. You know what an Ethan Allen is?
Not a clue.
Paint store. So
okay.
Yeah. It's
like a Sherman Williams.
It's like Sherman-Williams, yeah.
All right.
Peggy goes, lives will be lost. And, I mean, that's it. That's all
that's all
mentioned
you hear about
it, right? And then Didi, G.H., and Cotton all come through the sliding glass, which they just need to lock that door.
I think so.
Everybody comes through that damn door. He comes in and he says, smells like pancakes. I'll have waffles. If anybody in my life was this way, I would just tell him to get the hell out. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, he's a rough guy. He's definitely rough.
Smells like pancakes. I'll have waffles. Well, no, fucker, you'll eat what I'm fixing.
You'll eat
That's
what I'm fixing,
yeah.
Well, isn't pancakes and waffles the same thing?
It's the same thing, but that's not what she's fixing. You know? I mean, you got to get the waffle maker out and do all that crap. I'd just give him a holy-ass pancake is what I'd do. I'd just put some holes in a pancake.
Is there such thing as like a waffle press where it's like you set it down on the skillet and it just like...
I don't think so, but that's not a bad idea because it would get like crispy. You know?
Yeah.
Waffle press.
We might have to edit that out.
That's our first product.
We might have to edit that out. Yeah.
Trademark.
Stealing our ideas.
Mason, send that idea to us in the mail. Okay, so Bobby speaks up and he said, Grandpa, I was wondering when I'd get to see you. And how's my Uncle G.H.? He's kind of tickling the baby.
Yeah.
Waffles! Where's my waffles? Peggy says, they're coming right up. And Cotton, and she gets nice. She's like, can I borrow your war medals for my float, please? What? I need them medals. I'll be wearing them in the Veterans Parade. Hank says, that's right, Bobby. Your granddad carries the flag every year down in Houston. Cotton says, not this year, Bobby. I'll be marching here in Ireland with my war buddies. Topsy, Brooklyn, Fat Brooklyn, and, of course, Erwin Linkler. Erwin Linker. Hank says, what happened to Lucky? Dead?
Yeah, it's funny. So deadpan how it delivered. Dead! Yeah.
All right, now we're in the driveway with Hank, Bobby, Luann, Boomhauer standing there watching. Dale and Bill are pouring sand from a trash can onto the float board. So the little, what do you call those things? Streamers, whatever it is, are around the float. Yeah. The wheels are on, all that stuff. It's just flat, though, right now. So they're pouring a bunch of sand on it.
Isn't that called like a skirt?
Yeah, there you go. That's good. And so Hank and them were watching. Hank goes, good going, Dale. That looks like some top-quality sand you got there. And, of course, Dale, they won't be building any sand castles over at Staubach Elementary this week. And as they're pouring it, one of the little shovels falls out. Peggy, look what I see. She comes around the corner. She is driving a Tom Landry Middle School tractor. And she comes around the corner saying, look what I signed out for the weekend. It might not shift out a second, but it'll tow 8 city blocks. Okay, great. Yeah. All of them just kind of stare. And Dale says, or if we attach a steel extrusion to the front, we could push the float. Everybody just kind of stares at him. He goes, am I the only one who allows his mind to prance outside of the box?
Such a Dale thing to say.
It is a very Dale thing to say. All right, now we're at the VFW. Peggy's coming up the stairs. She knocks on the door up top, kind of opens it and goes, hello, Cotton? She's looking around. And here comes Didi. Peggy, my stepdaughter-in-law, why are you here? Peggy says, well, I came across this box of brand new cigars, and I know how much Cotton enjoys cigars. Didi says, these are not Cotton's brand. He won't like them, but I do. I'll smoke them. So the funniest thing to me
That
is
is
when she
funny.
lights up a cigar and just sits there and smokes
Smokes a
That's
cigar,
just,
yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
And at the VFW on the wall, there was this is from Artie. There was a police poster
Yeah.
over GH's
Police
crib,
woman. Yeah.
and it had policewoman. Sorry, and
Yeah.
it had that's Angie Dickinson.
Angie Dickinson.
And it's funny because if you go back, it's a callback to season 1,
Oh, yeah. Cotton loves him some Angie.
episode 8, season 1, episode 8, where Cotton let Bobby skip school for Angie Dickinson's birthday. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that. That, and then there's a Shin Jelly pump over there, on the other side.
A Shin Jelly Pump, gotta have it.
And by the way, Peggy looks around and like everything they own is up there. And by the way, this is not a great room. It's like an attic,
Yeah, it's not even really a room. Probably it's probably like
slanted
a
and it's got the
storage
windows.
area.
Yeah. She goes, no, he won't smoke them, but I will. And so you look inside and it's just super cramped. Peggy says, oh my, you certainly have brought a lot for your vacation. And in which box would I find Cotton's war medals, please? I mean, she's just so desperate on this one thing. She doesn't really care about what's going on around her. Didi says, the medals are in a locked display case in the lobby next to the vending machine where we get dinner. And then she blows like big cigar smoke rings, which is just, Didi has always been fascinating to me. How she was you got to wonder what Didi's life was like before.
I always thought she was Eastern European or something because she sounds, her
almost,
voice always sounds kind of funny. Like it's not.
Like Melania or something.
It's got like an accent, like she's got an accent or something.
Yeah. The medals are in a locked display. Yeah, it's. I think she's odd. I would love to have a prequel that tells me what Didi was.
What Didi was
before.
doing
That
before.
would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Was she working the counter somewhere or something?
She was working the counter at a department store, and then Hank brings up the fact that she was an optometrist helper or something like that. He says it here in a minute, and it's like not an optometrist, not somebody who actually does the fittings, but somebody below that. Like it's just so funny.
The glasses salesperson.
Yeah, it's like the glasses salesperson. All right, now Peggy is downstairs. She's looking at the medals in this display case in the hall downstairs. You hear Cotton over to the side. Him and all his buddies are in there playing poker downstairs. He goes, come on, Topsy, is you in or is you out? Topsy's, there's a rich pot, I fold. I love Topsy. Peggy comes over. Yoo-hoo, Dad. When the hell does she call him Dad?
That's the first time ever.
She
That's another
wants
artifact
something. Yeah.
for us. So Peggy calls Cotton Dad for the first and only time
Because
ever.
she wants something from him. That's the only reason she's doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
All the others vets go, oh, entertainment's here. Take your top off. It's just that's their immediate thing.
Hank's
Take off your
wife.
top. It's Hank's wife. What do you want? I'm up 8 cents. 8 cents. He's up 8 cents. Peggy says, well, I noticed your authentic war medals in the lobby display. Right. You want my medals. Okay, I'll give them to you. Cost you $200 a day. There's only one way you can make that, except you're 20 years too old and 20 pounds too skinny.
Wow.
All the guys at the table, they laugh. Peggy says, Cotton Hill, I do not know what I hate more about you, the way you talk to me or the way you treat your wife and your little child. He says, well, think about it, and just goes right back to the game.
Golly.
Just think about it.
Yeah, he don't care.
Oh, my God. Peggy just storms off.
Well, and says selfish or whatever. But that's the thing is even though Peggy's calling him selfish, the only reason why she wants his medals is for
selfish.
her own selfish whatever.
Absolutely, because she wants to be the big man on campus at the floats.
And she's not. She's not going to be.
No, she does something terrible.
Absolutely.
Now we're in bed with Peggy and Pank. Peggy and Hank.
Haggy and Pank.
Haggy and Pank. That's my new show. Watch for it
Do
on
the
NBC.
hanky Peggy.
Hank is over there clipping his toenails, kind of listening to Peggy. She goes, selfish. He is making his wife and your little brother stay in that tiny room just so he can play cards all day with that foul-mouthed Erwin Linker. Hank says, it's not all that bad. G.H. is too young to understand cuss words, and Brooklyn's are very good with him. I've seen it. Then Peggy says, Rob Reiner says that the first year of life is the most important to child's development. Your baby brother should be listening to lullabies, not to old men hacking up phlegm.
Yeah.
Rob Reiner?
Yeah, he was an actor.
Why? I mean, I know who Rob Reiner is, but
yeah. So
why is he giving child advice?
Well, here you go.
Okay.
So Rob Reiner, he was in Meathead.
Yeah.
In All the Family, he was Meathead.
He was Meathead. Yeah.
He was also directed Stand By Me.
He also directed Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap as well, but Stand By Me was I feel
big
like more Spinal Tap's a good movie, but as far as like critical, like a very critically good movie.
Well, big budget.
Stand By Me, big budget.
Stephen King short story.
Big
all of
big
that.
name guys in it. He had some. What was it? Corey Feldman, Joaquin or River Phoenix.
Aren't both the Coreys in it?
Corey Feldman and Corey,
whatever the other one's name is. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think both of them are in
both
it.
of them are in it.
But Rob Reiner also wrote The First Years Last Forever, a children's early education advocate book. So he advocated for early children's stuff, and he wrote a lot of books, I guess, or a book at least. This is just arty stuff. And he also wrote the book The Princess Bride.
Yeah, because I know he directed that also.
Yeah, that was his movie, his book. He did the whole shebang on that.
And I think he also did... what's the one where Tom Hanks tells Meg Ryan to meet him on the top of the Empire State Building? You've Got Mail or something like that? Yeah, I think he did that one too. I don't know. He's done a buttload of stuff, though. He's a very funny guy.
Well, Rob Reiner was also on, where I actually met him at? I think at the TV show, wasn't he on Weeds? Was it him on Weeds?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think that was somebody else. But I know, Weeds is a wonderful show, though.
No, I guess it wasn't him.
Little boxes
no, what's his name was in Weeds?
Was it Elliot Gould?
Yeah, that's who it was, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think he played her dad or something.
Yeah.
All right, so Hank's clipping his toenails. Excuse me. Hank says, G.H. is too young to understand cuss words. And she says, Rob Reiner has given me child development advice, which is just nuts. Hank says, all right, I'll go down there tomorrow and talk to my dad. You think the nail on my pinky toe will ever grow back? I mean, he's just he's so disinterested. And the thing that I thought about while I was watching this morning, I was like, Hank is so used to his dad's behavior that none of this is new. None of it even phases him anymore.
None of it does anymore.
Like, there's one thing that Cotton says to him at the end, which would make any grown man go, well, you know what, screw you. But instead, Hank is just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
when Harry met Sally.
There you go. That's what I meant. Yeah. I knew it was a Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie, but I couldn't remember. No. That's not Tom Hanks. It's Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, yeah.
Hank is driving. This is what I'm talking about. Here is the callback. Hank's driving, and he's yelling at a car because his car comes by and just goes past him. He goes, "You're supposed to yield." Oh, not anymore. Thanks a lot, Councilman Fred Ebert, jerk. And so he's referring to the fact that the councilman took the yield sign out that he was reading about in the paper earlier.
And that's
a fairly deep cut.
Yeah, Fred Everett is also the guy who abandons his post when he's season 8, episode 15 at the Tut Rumpy Dam.
Yeah.
Where the dam busts or whatever.
Yeah.
He's the one that was manning the dam, or supposed to be at that time.
He's in the parade here in a minute, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's driving down here. He almost gets hit or whatever because the yield sign's gone. He sees Cotton yelling at a guy in the pink and white parking lot. And I think you and I have come up with the fact that pink and white is basically Piggly Wiggly, because that's kind of what it seems like. It's a grocery store. But it's out in the parking lot, and there is a Can Redemption trailer out there, and there's a couple of guys out there. And Cotton says, "Are you chewing my shorts?" You're chewing my shorts.
I guess, are you lying to me?
Hank looks over and he's like, "What the?" And he goes, "Count them again. There's 53 cans in there. A nickel a pop. You owe me $2.65. And he's in line with Jimmy Wichert, which Jimmy is the smartest man in Arlen. The guy at the pink and white, he says, "Sir, there are only 50 cans here." 53. This hobo took 3 cans from my pile. He's talking about Jimmy. "I got those cans from a sewer outside the bus station." Okay, Cotton. Jimmy, of course, "Them cans are mine cans. I smashed them myself. Smashed them good." He goes, "You're lying? This dumpster monkey is lying." Dumpster monkey. I love that phrase. I'm going to start calling people dumpster monkeys. Yeah.
Well, I think that he was just referring to homeless as dumpster monkeys. I don't think we should do that.
Well, no. I mean, somebody like Jimmy Wichert is who I'm going to refer to.
Jimmy Wichert is definitely a dumpster monkey.
Yeah. And then the guy at the Can Redemption, he's like, whoever handed the cans, get the money here. And he just hands the money to Jimmy. And Cotton's like, "What the cussberg? I need that money. Give me that. They took my house. I got to live in a VFW. I'm broke." And then Hank overhears that, and he's just like, he's broke. I don't know why they couldn't put 2 and 2 together earlier.
I just don't understand what a World War II vet is doing broke.
Yeah.
I feel like after something like that, they should be taken care of for life.
Well, they should, unless you're Cotton. And then at some point he probably told him to get bent.
Potentially,
and probably got rid of all his.
Well, it's
other
probably
stuff.
it's probably one of those fixed income issues where the fixed
Yeah.
income never is anywhere it needs to be.
That's true. All right, Hank has just found out his dad is homeless, and we're going to take that to the commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Right back.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Foes Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
All right, and we are back. We are at the VFW now in the attic. Hank is in there talking to Cotton, Didi, and G.H. And he goes, you have no money? You lost a house in Houston? How could you let this happen? Did you blow it all on exotic dancers? And that's a very real possibility.
That is a
as well.
possibility, yeah.
Cotton, don't you judge me. My pension barely covered me into woman. I didn't plan on busting through my weenie shield and having this little fella weenie shield. Yeah. And I can't deny him anything in the world. No, I can't. Didi says...
just a second. So it's funny right here where
Weenie
Cotton
shield.
says, this is from Artie. So he says, Cotton says he can't deny GH anything, but there's plenty of times where he mentions to Hank that he had to pay for his sissy lenses.
Yes.
So he always bitches
Yes.
about having to buy Hank glasses, but GH,
Yep.
he can't deny anything.
You can't deny him anything. Yeah. Yeah, he's a jackass.
Jackass.
Didi says, Cotton tried to find a job in Houston, but nobody wanted him. Hank says, Didi, you're a certified optometrical assistant. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Optometrical assistant. That is the weirdest sounding job. He goes, there's lens crafters down at the... And then Cotton busts in, no wife of mine is going to work. Well, that's your problem.
That's a big problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hank says, look, Dad, I got a few extra dollars in my passbook account. Passbook account. Have you heard that before?
Nope, never
That's
heard
a
that
savings account.
Yeah.
But they used to give you like a little book that you could keep your stuff in.
Oh,
you
like
could
you-
say,
like
I
a ledger
deposited
or
this.
whatever.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a little ledger is all it is. He goes, passbook account, and he says, I could help you out. Of course, Cotton, being
Yeah.
Cotton,
He
you
don't
ain't my
want help.
daddy. I'm your daddy. Topsy. And here comes Topsy to try to get Hank out. He goes, show Hank the door. And, of course, Topsy comes over, grabs Hank by the arm, blows his cheeks real big like it's some sort of like defense pattern of a wild animal or something. He's
Like a big
blows up
lizard
his
or
thing.
something.
Yeah. And Hank's like, oh, all right, back off, God. Because Hank could just take Topsy right down.
Oh, easy.
That wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, he could kick him.
He goes, Dad, I could talk to Buck Strickland about getting you a job at Strickland Propane. I don't need your charity job. I got me an interview tomorrow. Getting back into the insulation business. Same work that kept your mother in JCPenney skirts and paid for your glasses all them years. 4 eyes.
See, here we go.
Just calls him 4 eyes to his face. That's rough. All right, now we're at the...
that was something that never bothered me growing up.
4 eyes?
Have you wore glasses your whole life pretty much?
I think I started wearing them when I was like 12.
12, yeah. I was probably younger than that, but like 4th grade. So I was probably like 9, 10, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But when people would always say 4 eyes, and I'm like... 4 eyes are better than 2. Fuck you. Like, what are you saying? 4 eyes. What does it even mean?
Yeah.
I have 2 eyes. I happen to have lenses. I just never understood the 4 eyes.
It's very
thing.
lazy. Is what it is.
Well, not only is it lazy,
bullies are usually lazy.
It wasn't even anatomically correct. I don't have extra pair of eyes. I have lenses I have to look through to help my piss poor eyes behind the lens.
It's absolutely
just say, hey, piss poor eyeballs. Like that's funny. Like that's hilarious. Like make fun of my eyes or something. Like your eyes are broke.
Your eyes suck. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's even funnier than 4 eyes. Your eyes suck. Funny, yeah, I like that. I have a buddy that I play video games and stuff with online, or chat with. I don't play games with him, but he has a some kind of condition with his eyes where he's losing all his vision and stuff, and that's what I tell him all the time. Your eyes suck.
All right, so we are. I'm assuming this is the next day. We're at the ABC Insulation Company, and Cotton is in there talking to the guy from the ABC Insulation Company in one of the cubicles. Hank is like in the next cubicle, kind of making himself busy, but overhearing. Cotton is talking to the guy. He goes, I'm your man, Mr. Lewis. I supervise the installation of asbestos at every public school in Heimlich County and 11 bowling alleys. And Mr. Lewis says, yeah, our company is paid to remove asbestos. Okay, so just real quick.
Asbestos, yeah.
All of the people, no, not even asbestos. No. All the people in the ABC Insulation Company, they all sound like characters from Office Space.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing to me because this guy, if that's not Mike Judge doing Mr. Lewis's voice, I don't know who is.
I got to asbestos quip here though, real quick before we move forward.
Yeah.
So asbestos, for those of you that don't know, is the name given to a group of naturally occurring fibrous minerals.
Fun to eat.
That are resistant to heat and corrosion. But because of these properties, they've been used in commercial properties such as insulation, fireproofing. They use them in racing brakes. Use asbestos and stuff like that, and some wallboard materials.
Well, they withstand an enormous amount of heat.
Yeah, they can. But there's a big issue with
I'd say it's an issue.
Asbestos. So if you breathe it, you can increase the risk of several diseases.
Got a little cancer in it.
Asbestosis, mesothelioma, and lung cancer.
And I know y'all have seen those commercials on
TV.
TV.
If you or your loved one has been exposed,
affected by mesothelioma,
or has been exposed to exposed to asbestos and has come down with the mesothelioma, call this number 1-800-mesothelioma.
Were you a office manager in 1975?
Okay, but a lot of that
fall on your head.
Yeah, but a lot of the issues were people. It was mostly construction guys that had all the issues, and then they used to go in and take it all out, and before they, like at the early stages of ripping asbestos out and stuff like that and installing it, they didn't realize a lot of the health effects. So now when they take asbestos out, they have abatement companies, like an entire companies that are dedicated to removing asbestos.
They wet it all down, then they remove it so that it's not flying in the air.
There's no particles and stuff.
Yeah.
They did that here in downtown. Yeah, they did. Whenever they were tearing that old hotel or whatever's that old motel in the downtown area, when they tore it down.
Hotel?
Well, it was a crack hotel, but I imagine at one point in its
I'm sure it was fine.
existence, it was probably a really nice place to stay.
It looks like maybe it was early 60s.
Actually,
or like
the LaSalle shops, they're closed now, but that right there used to be a hotel.
Oh, really?
Where they had that antique store or whatever. That used to be an old hotel. But yeah, like all these old hotels and stuff that are in the downtown area, I'm sure at some point in their existence there are beautiful places to be. The Delta Inn, even at one point, my dad said it used to be a fairly nice hotel before it became the dope hole it is now. He said that it used to have like a nice restaurant and everything in the front of it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, a lot of those, even the motels, not even hotels, had those little restaurants out front and stuff. Do you remember the Stardust?
No, I don't remember that one.
It was right off the Circle. So
it's probably something else now. C&E or whatever they call it over there, or the Astro.
No. It's It's where HEB is now.
The
but
tent.
They
had
right
like
there. It was. They had this beautiful sign with like It was all neon and stuff, and had like the weird '60s squiggles and stuff on it. I mean, the sign was cool. The place was
before
gross.
they tore it down. They had a trampoline on a pole or something out there. It was like I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's right there by
I don't know about a trampoline on a pole, but that sounds fun too.
Yeah, well, I think it was just.
I think it's what they called the girl in 3A.
I think it was somebody trashing stuff. Yeah, trampoline on a pole.
Okay, so he's talking to Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis says our company's paid to remove asbestos. He goes, "What? Remove asbestos? What the hell for?" He goes, "Well, you wrote on your application that you're 38 years old. Is that right?" "Indeed. I look older because the Japanese shot my shins off in the war." He's like, "Which war?" "Gulf War." "Well, the Japanese didn't shoot your shins off in the Gulf War." And then Hank looks over the cubicle and he goes, "Hey, now hold on there. You can't ask an applicant his age." And Mr. Lewis looks up at me and he's like, "I'm sorry, who is this?" He goes, "I'm his son."
Yeah, and for those of you watching, that would be the first Gulf War. That would be George H.W.'s war. And then his son would go back to finish it, and later on.
Cotton says after he says, "I'm sorry, who's this?" He goes, "I'm his son." He goes, "Gulf War, baby. Saddam's chemicals made him freakishly large."
Yeah.
And then Mr. Lewis says, "Yeah, we'll be sure to give you a call." And then you just see it. As much as Cotton is an ass, it's hard to see him sad.
Yeah.
Because he's always so confident, but he's definitely sad here. Okay, next thing we see, we're at Burton's Corporation headquarters in the back, and Hank is unloading some propane tanks there. And Mr. Burton says, "I tell you, Hank, ever since you sold me those propane patio heaters, people have been eating outside, even when it's cold." And Mr. Burton's standing there with kind of a clipboard. He's been taking inventory as he's bringing it in. Hank says, "Clean, even heating is just one of the 14 reasons." And he goes, yeah, I remember your toast at my daughter's wedding."
Wow, that's awful, Hank.
He
would be the one, though, to do that at a wedding.
Yeah, the guy says, "Now listen, if there's ever anything I can do for you, just give me a holler." He goes, "Well, Mr. Burton, are you a fan of World War II heroes?" And so you know what he's asking for.
Yeah.
Now we're at Burton's Prime Rib, which I'm assuming is what all that propane was for. It's a prime rib steakhouse, right? The manager is speaking to Cotton, who obviously Hank has gotten a job there. And the manager says, "So, you're my Uncle Bert's new hire. This is your stool. When people come in, you give them a special greeting. Did you learn the special greeting?" He goes, "I studied on it." He goes, "All right, good for you. Break time's in an hour. You get 3 ounces of beef or 5 ounces of chicken and 1 starch." And then he just walks off. Cotton, it's so... I don't want to say sad necessarily, because he has to waddle over to the little stool,
Yeah.
Then he has to jump up on the stool. I mean, it's rough.
Well, I think what it really I don't know if this was their intent or not, but what I get from it is it's showing how mistreated soldiers are when they come back from war.
Well, it's humanizing Cotton too.
Now, I'm not one of those people that rallies in the streets for soldiers or nothing like that. They signed up to go do that. That's like voluntarily on their own to go do that. They chose that choice.
Right.
Even in World War II, they chose that choice. A majority of people that went signed up to go. They weren't drafted, even though there was drafts. A lot of more people went than didn't. Just to do their part. They had to enact drafts when they started having attrition and started running out of men. Then they had to start drafting. But the mistreatment, if they go for 4 years somewhere and give their life up for whatever, and they get shot at and then they come back, especially wars like World War II, that person should never have to want or need, their basic needs should be met for perpetuity.
Yeah.
And
if we can protect ex-presidents who have been impeached with Secret Service for the rest of their life, then we can protect these guys.
Yeah, we did it for Nixon.
That's all there is to it.
Even Nixon had when he was
Clinton,
impeached.
everybody. I mean, anybody who's
all
impeached,
of them. They all have their and then money too. They get that pension afterwards. So it's crazy to think that we could give a guy that doesn't really do much of anything.
Well, my buddy Melvin, he was in the Marines for 22 years. The only thing he gets out of that is he gets to go to the VA. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't get a thing. He doesn't get, unless you're hurt in the military, you usually don't get anything.
Yeah, you don't get very much anyway, yeah.
Okay, so 3 ounces of beef or 5 ounces of chicken and 1 starch. A little bit later, you see time pass. 2 guys come through the doors. Cotton jumps down. Welcome to Burton's. The hostess will seat you. Points at the girl on the thing. She sits him down. Then a family comes in. He goes, welcome to Burton's. The hostess will seat you. He looks over, and she's not there because she's seating the other 2 guys. And he goes, oh, she tied up momentarily, right this way. And then he starts waddling them to a table. Manager comes out and goes, whoa, what are you doing? He goes, they was waiting. I'm showing them to a table. He goes, that's the hostess's job. You're a greeter. Now, please return to your stool. Cotton tends to fly off a little bit
yeah,
here.
he does. He gets off the handle.
He says, now, you listen to me, Junior. I led a platoon of men through the jungles of Saipan. I think I can lead a party of 4 to table 6. The manager says, I'm sure you can, but right now what I need you to do is go back to your stool. You think I can't do it? I've done everything for this country. I gave my shins to beat the Tojos. I bit a Nazi's windpipe in half. Ah! And he just he yells at him.
Yeah.
All right, now it's the next day. Cotton drives up and he gets out of his Cadillac car. He goes inside and you just overhear the manager go, congratulations, you've been promoted to men's room attendant. And he goes, what? So poor Cotton, he can't keep his damn mouth. He reminds me of my father. He can't keep his mouth shut, and so now they're going to stick him in the men's room. Which I've never understood why you needed somebody in the men's room.
Yeah,
I
never understood about a bathroom attendant, period.
Yeah.
I don't need some strange person in the bathroom shaking my hand after I get through pissing.
Later on, he's on that stool in the men's room. He looks very, very sad. You hear
that is kind of degrading.
Oh, it's
That's
very
worse
degrading.
than Walmart greeter, bathroom attendant.
You hear the toilet flush. Guy comes out of the stall, looks at him, and goes, sorry about that. And so, I mean, you get the point that, oh, Lord, that sucks.
Yeah.
I know I wouldn't want to sit in a bathroom.
And he had a chef's hat on.
No, that's the second one.
That's the second one?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now he is in the Cadillac car with G.H. We're at the Hill House. Peggy's working on a float. Bobby, Peggy, Hank, and Dale are all there. He comes over and goes, good afternoon, kinfolk. Who knew there was so much money in greeting? Hop in. I'm going to go treat all the Hill boys to some ice cream. And Bobby, of course, immediately, my work here is done, puts his paintbrush down. He's ready to go.
Thing down, yeah.
Peggy comes up and goes, Cotton, look at the detail on this float. Now, I'd say it's second place float right now. All it needs to move up to first are authentic war medals. You're such a nag. Now I know why Hank wants to divorce you. He just made that shit up.
Yeah, he did.
Hank's like, Dad, there is not a shred of truth in that. He goes, mull it over. I mean,
mull it
that's
over.
rough, man. Yeah. Then a car drives up. A guy jumps out. One of them jumps into the caddy because he goes, that's the one. And Cotton sees it, and he's like, hey, get out of my Cadillac car. And the one driving, we figure out, is Lane Prattley from Lane Prattley Hyundai, whatever.
Yeah.
He goes, it's my car now. You're 5 months behind on your payments. Afternoon, ma'am. Lane Prattley Cadillac Hyundai. Hank comes out and goes, oh, well, hold on a minute. There's got to be something that we can work out here. He goes, it's too late for that, Hank. It's not too late to put you in a brand new Sonata, only 52,000 miles on her. She's practically a dealer car. Here comes Cotton running at him with an electric circular saw. Like, if he had been able to reach Lane Prattley, he would have cut him with an electrical circular saw, which there's not many other worse ways.
No, there's not worse ways to die than a circular saw cutting you in pieces.
So he's running out with this thing, and he goes, I'll cut your guts out. And Hank's like, Dad, no. And then the cord unplugs, so, of course, it stops. Both of them speed off, Lane Prattley and his guy that's driving the Cadillac car. Cotton, get off my plug. Well, thank you very much, Hank, for helping me chop him up. You owe me a Cadillac car. I mean, he's like all broken up. You owe me a Cadillac car.
Yeah, he's upset. That's what he's known for. That's one of his.
It's his Cadillac car.
Yeah.
Next thing we see is Heimlich County bus dropping Cotton off at the bus stop. He has a little ways to walk. He looks down the street. He sees the Veterans Day Parade banner in the street. He comes into the prime rib place, and the boss says, Mr. Hill, you're late. He goes, couldn't reach the ding cord on the bus. Now, listen up, Junior. I ain't going to be here tomorrow. I'm marching in the Veterans Day Parade, and I still get my full pay. He goes, not on my watch. Veterans Day is one of our busiest days. We're right on the parade route. I don't know that that's true for anybody.
Busy on the parade route?
Yeah. He goes, I need you in the men's room on your stool. Oh, you can't do that. I killed 50 men.
I killed 50 men.
That parade's
That's
for me.
one of my favorite lines.
He goes, Mr. Hill, maybe you need to reevaluate whether you really want to clean up after my customers use the bathroom. Yeah, I'd reevaluate that pretty
Yeah, I
damn
really don't
quick.
even care. Yeah.
Cotton's just sad. He
Well,
kinda
I
looks
just
at the
can't.
floor.
I can't believe that we're in Texas.
Yeah.
There's not a business owner in this town. Well, there's not very many World War II people alive anymore. But
Sure.
say we're in the 90s, especially in the 90s. I feel like there was probably more of that patriotism in this area in that time period than there is now. But there's nobody that's gonna say to a World War II vet, "No, you cannot participate in the Veterans Day
Yeah.
parade."
You talk
That's
about
why this
bad PR.
this is kind of unbelievable.
Yeah.
Almost to a point.
It is.
It's almost to a point of very fictitious
Sure.
Texas. I mean, we're in a fictitious Texas town anyway, but this would never happen in Texas.
Well, especially Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, it would never happen.
All right, so we're back at the house. Hank says, your mother stayed up all night putting the finishing touches on that float. Never came to bed. He and Bobby go out to look, and number one, Peggy looks like she's been up for 16 days straight. She got paint and crap all over her. We then see the float, and the mannequins have been replaced with skeletons and a Union Jack flag right over their head.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's very artistic. It's like an art piece talking about the futility of war almost.
Hank says, you put skeletons on Iwo Jima? She says, without your father's medals, the whole authentic concept didn't work. I had to go in a different direction. The futility of war.
Yeah, it shows the futility of war.
He goes, Peggy, you can't make fun of war heroes in a veterans parade.
Why would they assume that's making fun of them? I don't think it's making fun of war heroes. In anything, it's an homage. It's like a there's not a veteran that I know that wouldn't like some morose shit like that, because all the veterans are all they're all kind of dark. Like, to go and be in war and then come back from war, their humor is dark. They're just the things they talk about's dark because it's a dark experience to go through.
I think Hank's more like you're saying they're all dead or whatever. You know?
I don't think he doesn't. What this shows is Hank doesn't understand
no.
the nuance of art.
He doesn't have subtle.
He doesn't understand the subtleties or the nuances of the art.
He goes, those are skeletons, Peggy. She goes, old Halloween decorations were the best I could do at 4 a.m., Hank. Didi comes out. She goes, sorry, I'm late. I had to take 3 buses, one to get here, one to get back and get G.H., then one to get here. she forgot the baby. Hank's like, where's my dad? He had to work. A veteran working on Veterans Day? That ain't right. So the next thing we see is Sad Cotton watching out the window in the bathroom at the parade route. Guy comes out, flushes the toilet, puts on the chef hat, and goes straight out. Doesn't wash his hands.
Doesn't wash his
do
hands.
anything.
Yeah, we're gonna say the chef did not wash his hands here.
Cotton gets up from his stool, goes, and he's going to clean the toilet now that the guy's been done. Hank comes in and goes, Dad, you in here? They said you were back here. He closes the door real quick and pretends like he's going to the bathroom. He says, I'm on my break from my greeter's job. What do you want? I'm busy. He says, I stopped by the VFW and picked up your dress uniform, your marching shoes. He goes, I can't march today. I'm too much of a big man here. Got too much responsibility. He goes, Dad, you're the greatest war hero Arlen's ever seen. You should be marching in that parade. He goes, can't. And then, and then you just see like his little shoes dangling off the toilet under the door.
Yeah.
Hank says, I'm just going to leave your uniform on this bar stool if you change your mind. Then you just see Sad Cotton on the toilet. All right, now we're on the parade route. All the guys and everybody are standing over there on the parade route watching the parade. Bill is eating a very big cotton candy, and he goes, oh, there he is. He's pointing at somebody. And then he's eating at his cotton candy, and there's this old lady in front of him with big blue hair, and he ends up eating on her hair. Which that's pretty rough.
That is rough.
She turns around and goes, I beg your pardon. He goes, oh, sorry. He literally tried to eat her hair.
Yeah.
And then he looks at Dale and goes, would you believe this isn't the first time that's happened to me?
Yeah.
Peggy comes out. She's on the tractor with the skeleton float. People are just disgusted by it. She goes, Happy Veterans Day. Okay, so in this parade, we see a big band. So I'm assuming the Arlen High School band. We see Arlen High salutes its vets banner. We get Councilman Fred Ebert on a car with the top down. He's just kind of floating through the thing. And then we also see a Megalomart float with Chuck Mangione playing his flugelhorn, and it says, "Honoring Vets feels so good." Okay, so now we are with Sad Cotton. He's staring out the window, and finally he's just like, screw this. He puts on his uniform, starts marching out. He marches past the manager guy, and he goes, "I told you we'll bring a meal into you." He goes, "Doing it for the baby, doing it for the baby." And so he goes back. He's staring out the window again, and he sees the Cadillac go by with Lane Prattley in it, dressed like Douglas MacArthur, driving around his Cadillac car. And he goes, "Oh, my Cadillac car. He clowned up. I'll get that son of a bitch."
Yeah,
and
he's dressed up like George Patton.
Either Patton or Douglas MacArthur.
Yeah,
one
Douglas
or the other.
MacArthur,
Yeah,
one of the two. They're similar, yeah.
He's got that pipe. Anyway, he crawls out the window. You see Hank, and he's like, "Oh, good, there's my dad. He decided to join the parade after all." And then he runs up, he yanks Lane Prattley out of the car, and drives off in the Cadillac car through the parade. People are flying around trying to get out of his way. It's a very big surprise
bizarre,
that he didn't run over somebody. Hank's just like, "Good Lord." And then Bill's like, "I love a parade." And that's he goes to a commercial break. Yeah. All right, so we're going to take a second commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Christine, and I'm an alcoholic. Here's the deal. Everybody knows somebody that has suffered from the disease of addiction. I want to invite you to listen to Purpose-Driven Sobriety, where we have real conversations with real people that have suffered from the disease of addiction and have gone on to thrive. Here, we shine light into the darkness that is addiction. You can find Purpose-Driven Sobriety on Facebook or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Hola, yo soy Jackie.
Y yo soy Jessica.
Y esto es Zona del Crimen. Un podcast donde hablaremos sobre casos de crímenes reales
Y eventos impactantes que han quedado marcados a través del tiempo. Recuerden que nos pueden seguir en Facebook, Instagram
o donde escuches tus podcasts favoritos.
All right, and we are back. Now we still see the Cadillac careening through the parade. People are clamoring. Everybody's running around. Hank gets over on the tractor with Peggy, which I don't know what he's thinking.
Yeah,
like, scoot over. My dad stole his car back. And so now they're both on this tractor that won't shift out a second, she said. And so
trying to haul ass around in something that's not going to move.
Well, it's just going down the street going, I mean, that's about as fast as it moves, you know. Cadillac takes off. The tractor is kind of slow and steady behind it because, A, it's an old broken down tractor, and B, it's got a skeleton float behind it. Now we see the ABC Insulation Corporation. Mr. Lewis is in there talking to the other guys. I'm assuming it's around lunchtime, and he goes, "Listen, if we can't agree on it, then Bob and I will go to Del Taco, and you two go to Taco Bell, okay?" I mean, this is such the weirdest little.
I've never eaten at Del Taco.
Oh yeah, Del Taco's good. Cotton comes barging in. He's in his uniform. "I ain't no stinkhouse porter. You think a shinless man can't remove asbestos? I'll show you what a 75-year-old shinless man can remove." And he rips off this guy's toupee and staples it to the wall. One of the guys that are standing around, they're all kind of snickering at him as he goes off, and the guy's covering his head because his wig is gone now. And then the guy who says this, he sounds just like Milton from Office Space. He goes,
"Yeah,
I told you it was a rug." I mean, it's like, you know, that whole Milton saying, I was able to see the squirrels and they were married. And
yeah.
And it's probably Bill doing it anyway.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah.
Jim Dotrieve?
Stephen Root.
Stephen Root,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's
Yeah,
probably Stephen Root doing
Not
it
Jim
anyway.
Dotrieve, sorry.
Okay, Hank and Peggy are on the tractor. They are at the light. Peggy looks over and points at the ground. There's a trail of flowers that have been falling off this car. Hank puts up the left turn signal, turns left, and then we see Cotton continuing his rampage. He's going down the street. He sees Jimmy at a dumpster, being his dumpster monkey self, pulling out cans and smashing them on the ground. You overhear Jimmy going 61 and smash, 62 and smash, 63 and go away, you. These are my cans. Whenever he comes up, he goes, "Hey, Fingers, you ain't counting fast enough." He starts throwing cans at him. He goes 64, 60 and 5, 60 and 6, 60 and 7, 60 and 8, 9, 6 and 10, 60, 11. I mean, he's freaking Jimmy out. Okay, so now we're back in the car driving. And you hear over the PA that is apparently installed in the car now because it was a parade float. He goes, "Topsy, you shouldn't be waiting for a bus. You strangled Herman Goering, for God's sakes." So Herman Goering, terrible Nazi during World War II. And
he actually
Topsy
ingested cyanide is how he died.
Yeah.
Herman Goering was leader of their Air Force, their Luftwaffe and stuff like that. He was a big part of that.
Rough guy. And Topsy's over there waiting for a thing, and he's like, "You don't have to do that." So Topsy comes over with him. Now we see the manager of the prime rib place. He is tied up on the toilet by Topsy, standing there next to him. He goes, "Oh, please don't kill me." Cotton says, "I won't, but in a few minutes you is going to wish you was dead." And then a guy comes in. He hands him a magazine and goes, "Take your time, sir." And then the customer's just like, "Thanks." So they're tying this guy up to a toilet, gagging him so that he has to smell the guy next to him.
Yeah.
All right, we're still on the tractor, the float. They're still moving very slowly on the highway. Cotton and Topsy are in the Cadillac car, and they are coming out of Burton's prime rib. "Outstanding work, Sergeant. Reminds me of the old days." Topsy looks at him and goes, "Who's next?" And he looks and sees the parade is over, and Cotton says to him, "There's nobody left. I still ain't done nothing to help my family." Topsy says, "Come on, Colonel, this is where you say, Topsy, let's roll." And he stops him and says, "Sorry, Toppington, some things a man has to do on his own." And then they salute. Cotton gets in the Cadillac car and takes off. Now we're at at Hank Hill's house. We're in Bobby's room. Cotton and Bobby are sitting on the bed. Cotton's talking to Bobby. "I'm sorry we never got to go for that ice cream cone, Bobby. Looks like we're not going to get the chance. Just as well I don't have any money." Bobby says, "I got that share of U.S. Steel you bought me when I was born. We could cash that in." Wish I had a share of U.S. Steel. I'm
sure that's probably worth something. U.S. Steel just sold themselves to a Japanese company.
Really?
Here recently. I was reading about that. The SEC just approved it or whatever and let it go through. But they bought the company. So now this Japanese company owns I think it was somewhere in the 80% range of all steel being produced in the world.
It's amazing. Cotton says, "You should put that money into life insurance. Best thing I ever did. I'm worth more dead than alive." Bobby says, "What do you mean, Grandpa? Is there a price on your head?" "Probably." And then he hands an envelope to Bobby, and he goes, "Here you go." He goes, "I've written you a letter of recommendation for the Army. Give this to the general when you turn 15. That's the best plan he has for Bobby. Here's a letter so that you can get in the Army, which I'm not sure who they're turning down, and give this letter to the general when you turn 15. Next, we see Cotton at the VFW. He's getting the medals from the case, and he also grabs a handgun. Peggy and Hank pull up on the tractor back at their house. All the guys are in the alley. Bobby comes running out and goes, "Dad, Grandpa was just here. He was acting all weird. He kept talking about how important it was to have life insurance." Dale says, "The Colonel asked me for some ammunition, which due to the spectacular failure of Y2K, I had plenty of." Hank says, "Knowing you gave it all to him." He goes, "No, I tried to, but he said he only needed one bullet." Which, I mean, I think we all know what that means. Hank says,
"Yep,
one bullet.
Real dark.
Damn it, Dale." And he kind of runs off. Next, we see Cotton loading the gun, looking in the mirror. He's got that one bullet. Obviously, he's about to off himself.
Yeah.
Didi and G.H. bust in. G.H. is just crying his head off. And she goes, "Cotton, I've been watching G.H. all day. It's your turn." And she sounds pissed.
Yeah,
honestly.
she sounds really pissed.
She doesn't do that very often.
Nah, well, I can imagine having to take care of a kid by yourself all the time.
Hell yeah.
Sucks.
He goes, not now, woman. She goes, yes, now. I need some me time to do the laundry. I mean, that's shitty me time, but all right. She hands the baby to Cotton. Cotton just kind of stares at him, and you can tell Cotton has turned that corner in his head. He's like, no, I got to do this for the baby.
Yeah.
You know. Hank pulls up. He runs into the VFW. Dad, open up. Come on, let me in. He's banging on the door. On the other side, you hear, go away. This doesn't involve you. And then you hear a gunshot. And so Hank is like, oh, dear Lord. He goes, Dad, and he busts down the door, and you see Cotton. You just see his back. You see smoke coming up on the other side. Mm-hmm. But then he turns, and you see the baby is wearing big ear protection.
Earmuffs with a big old pistol in his hand.
And he's got a pistol in his hand, and there's a hole in the mattress.
Yeah.
He goes, just thought the boy had to fire a gun. Look at him. He loves to shoot. You cried your first time, and you was 3. Hank is obviously pretty relieved. He goes, you were, I just thought you, he goes, what? I was spending time with my favorite son? You got a problem with that? That's what I'm talking about, where Hank has seen this movie so many times. He's like, no, I don't. He goes, Hank, I thought it over. I decided to let you give me some money, for G.H. They both sit down.
I like how he justifies the help,
yeah,
too.
It's for G.H. They both sit down on the floor with G.H. They're kind of playing with him. He goes, I'm glad you came around. I'm happy to help you out. He goes, it ain't help. You paying me back for all the money I spent raising you food, clothes, sissy lenses for your eyes. Hank's just like, all right, Dad, okay, all right, that seems fair. It's more than fair. I ain't even charging you interest because you're my son and all. Now, give me $300. I want to buy G.H. and me a set of walkie-talkies, for when he learns to walk and talk. I love that joke. That's
I like
so
that too,
good.
yeah.
Hank says, I got $20 on me. He goes, $20? I got big poop tips from that.
Yeah.
And then he's just playing with G.H., and that is it. He goes right to the credits. Yeah. So Cotton was going to shoot himself in the head, and then he didn't.
And then he didn't.
There you
or
go.
Was he going to?
After after the credits, you just hear, waffles. Where's my waffles?
Where's the waffles? Yep,
and
so that's it.
That is
a wrap.
it.
Season 5, Episode 6.
Season 5, Episode 6, when Cotton comes marching home again. All right, you want to tell them where they can find us?
Yep. You can find us at bwaaakoth.com, or you can go to roguemedianetwork.com/bwaaakoth, and you can hit our hotline at 254-471-4007.
Nice job. Okay, so remember, this Friday we're going to do an episode of Swimmer's Ear.
Swimmer's Ear.
This will be kind of flipped off into its own show, but wanted to put it in this feed so that you guys can get a preview of it. I think the first thing we're doing is unedited footage of a bear. It's a little 10-minute short from Adult Swim. Hope you guys enjoy it. And let me talk about a couple of other shows, new shows. One is Ned Hillsdale, Private Detective. That is one that comes out twice a week on Mondays and Fridays. It's short little 5-minute noir-type detective stories. Another one we've got coming out is called Snack Time. It's out every Wednesday. We drop 2 episodes of that. It is history of your favorite candies, cookies, crackers, chips, that kind of stuff, especially the stuff that is not being made anymore. Like I think one of the episodes covers the Reggie Bar, named after Reggie Jackson. So check those out. They're very short. Doesn't take long to listen to them, but I think the facts are cool, the stuff that you listen to. It's kind of one of those things that you can listen to while you're brushing your teeth.
Which is kind of cool because we live in a town where a snack items, multiple snack items, drinks, snack drinks,
absolutely.
like
Sure.
Dr. Pepper, Big Red, 7-Up, and then snack foods,
M&M Mars,
like Snickers, Skittles, and Starburst. For those of you that don't know, I'll give a fun fact real quick. So for those of you that don't know, a good 80-something% or so of the full-size Snicker bars are made right here in Texas and have been since the 70s.
Yeah, they've been here for quite a while.
Huge producer of Snickers.
It is, it's a big deal, and it's kind of cool.
It's the largest and fastest candy production line in North America.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
that.
Yes,
they produce 10 million per shift. So in an 8-hour shift, they make 10 million Snickers.
The only thing I ever did at M&M Mars is I went in and I helped organize the little break thing in there. Like we were installing cameras or something in there, some sort of POS system and cameras and stuff inside the little store or whatever's in there. I think there's like a little place where you can get snacks and drinks and stuff.
Like a cafeteria type
like
thing? Yeah, there's like a big cafeteria area.
I was working for a place that we went in and did that kind of crap. We did it there, and we did it at Pilgrim Pride.
Yeah, I actually
Pilgrim's Pride is the grossest thing.
ran the equipment at one point that wrapped them and put them in cartons, and then transitioned into the area where I was running the cookers, cooking the actual syrup and everything, and actually making the Snickers.
I'm sure you're glad you don't do that anymore.
Well, actually, I loved the job. I hate
Really?
the hours.
Yeah.
Hate the hours.
Yeah.
If it was a 9 to 5 type,
Sure.
situation, I'd still be there.
Not sure why
but-
they don't make candy 9 to 5.
Well,
I guess they do,
it's,
but they have to make so much of it. It runs in shifts, huh?
Well, not only that, a lot of what they produce or whatever ends up sitting in a warehouse and destroyed. You know,
really?
Yeah, there's like 10% of all the candy that's made is already written off.
Well, guys, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Again, stick around Friday for the first episode of Swimmer's Ear. We'll be doing that. And then join us again next Monday for a new episode.
Oui, Matanye.
Oui, Matanye, indeed.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.